Okay, so I've just finished playing my third solo game of Colonial Twilight, the 7th volume in the Coin series, and here are my thoughts on the game, mainly from a perspective, obviously, from a one-player viewpoint. So first up, component-wise, as usual, the Coin games are beautifully presented, top-notch components throughout. I expect nothing less from GMT games these days, their premier wargame manufacturer. Just wonderful games to have set up and to look at as well as play. So component wise, yeah, brilliant. I mean, the fact that I've just played 3 straight games in a row shortly after receiving this and putting some other games on the back burner straight away because of this must tell you about my thoughts and views on the game already. Fun factor, I've thoroughly enjoyed playing this game solo, but more on that shortly. So what sets this apart from the other games that I've played? And I've played Andean Abyss, which was my first Coin game, Cuba Libre, Falling Sky, and I've got Liberty or Death, but I haven't played that one yet. And I haven't played the Coin games that extensively because I found with those bigger games they just take a bit more work to get to the table and to get people to play me with them. And as solo games, they're all very good, but I'll say here now, for me this has been the premier solo Coin experience, even more so than Cuba Libre, which is a nice tight smaller Coin game. So first up, I really want to point out how the fact that this is 2-player really makes this excel as a solo game, because you are basically playing, the AI goes and then you go again, and so there's very little downtime in terms of having to manage the AIs, the other 3 AIs. You're just managing one other AI and you're back into your part of the game. So I really like that. This has made this game a real joy to play in terms of I can focus on my strategy without having to worry half as much about the AI flow and procedure. And a point here to note that I've been playing the AI using the flowchart, not just as best I can, but I will try that at some stage. So as a solo game, this has leapt to number 1 in my Coin series. So some of the things I really like about the this version. First up, the initiative track. It works very well. I love how you take an action and it goes on the relevant spot, and then the subsequent player can only play an adjacent spot. So that gives you much more control over the game, I feel, as opposed to the earlier incarnations of the Coin series. I felt a lot more in control here. And with this initiative track, I found that if I wanted to keep going first or being first eligible, you can manage that, and it does give you some ability to sort of to plan ahead a little bit without being disrupted as much as I found I used to be in the other games. So I really like the initiative track. It works really well. The France track, which can adjust commitment and affects FLN resources. I think this works exceedingly well in addition to the initiative track, and it just provides a bit of extra flavour. It abstractly represents, I think, the commitment of people back in France, be they Algerian expats or whatever, and their effect on the game. And I found when I was playing the solo game that heck, this could really creep up this track here, and when it came to the propaganda phases, wow, you could be knocked back 3 commitment or give the FLN a whole ton of resources. So it's something you've got to keep an eye on, and it just adds that extra bit of flavour to the game without overcomplicating anything. So I feel like that works really well. So I love the France track. And in the same vein, the border zone track, once I've played it, after 2 games, I came to really get a feel for how these tracks work, and this one here affects movement over the borders, and it also comes up in the propaganda phase as well. But both those tracks, they don't complicate things, but they add just that element which makes it a little more interesting. So really like those 2 tracks. So overall, with the solo games I've played, I've just felt like I've had more control over things compared to the other coin games, which I really like. That and the fact that you're only managing the one AI, for me anyway, that's a huge bonus, because I'm not fantastic at managing AIs, I'll be honest, and I tend to probably refer to the rule books much more frequently than a lot of you guys do. So just having one to look after makes things a lot easier. Okay, this has leapt up to number 1 in my coin games, and it may even get up there in terms of my overall wargaming list of top games. I highly recommend this game as a coin game series, and it's reignited my interest in the whole coin series. I haven't played it much lately, but it's made me want to go back and revisit some of the other games. I've now learned a bit about this French Algerian War, which I had no knowledge of at all, and that's a big bonus. So all in all, I think Brian Train has done an excellent job here with Colonial Twilight, the latest coin game. I highly recommend it, particularly if you're a solo player. I think you're going to love it. Thanks for watching, guys.